I feel like.
We're back.
Get your gooey blanket. It's not that cold in here.
No, it is cold in here, and it's soaking wet.
Hot.
Like, how many years is it gonna take me to realize I need to carry an umbrella in my car? How many years of real estate do we have? Like, over under here? 10?
In Colorado, it rains
We're at 6.
once every.
I was gonna say snow's more of a thing.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
where we carry it.
I ruined my outfit. I ruined my hair. All because I don't have an umbrella, and I was showing properties in the pouring rain. So.
Well, you know, YOLO.
Yep. Yep. So that's
Is that one of the reasons why you hate real estate?
Yes,
because of the
but
weather.
I feel like I have to own that because how hard is it to put an umbrella in your car? You know?
Not hard.
I have never carried an umbrella in my car.
Okay, so it's not just me.
No.
Nettie has one.
I do not.
Okay, so good. We're all done.
Yep, we all.
Perfect.
Yep.
Perfect.
I just go with statistics. Statistically, it's not going to rain on me.
That's true, but if we're showing houses enough,
Yeah.
rain on us.
Statistically,
Usually we
it'll
know in
rain.
Colorado when it's going to rain. Like, we knew this morning it was going to rain.
I know. I just didn't think it would rain 2 days in a row.
Well, and it's also rained more than it's ever
And
rained.
yeah, it's not like sprinkling. It's like downpour.
All right, you guys are off subject. What
Sorry.
other reasons
Okay.
why do you
Okay.
hate
5
real
things we
estate?
hate about real estate. Let me go first. Okay, I hate the way we are perceived as an industry. I think that people have this like, you know, perception of real estate agents that they're like used car salesmen, and I hate even saying that because I have friends that sell cars. And
My
they're not that
brother-in-law-
way.
My
They're not
brother-in-law
that
is
way.
like that, and he's not like that.
But some of them are. I have had a very bad experience at a couple of dealerships where I'm like, wow, you're exactly why people hate this industry. Same for realtors though.
Yep.
There are definitely realtors out there that it's like, you're the reason we have the image that we have. But I do hate the image. So that's one thing. I think that because people have this like perception of real estate and realtors, it causes like even our own friends and family to look at us differently or treat us differently. And it's hard because like, you know, you have to have a thick skin when you're in sales, obviously,
Right,
but
you do.
when it's your own friends and family that choose to work with someone else or tell you they're gonna work with you and then end up working with someone, I mean, it's really hard to give someone that the perspective of what that blow really feels like if they're not self-employed, if they're not commission-based, if you know what I mean. It's like that is devastating, and I think that's one of the hardest things to get through in this industry is like recovering from that blow from a friend or a family member or someone a client you've worked with before,
That's the worst.
or someone you've been working with for a long time, like trying to help them, and then you just find out on Facebook or whatever that they bought a house with someone else, and it's like, I think it's brutal. This industry can be really brutal, and that's one of the worst things that I hate about it.
I think one of my first clients, a buyer client, you know, went out in the blizzards to show him properties, and then I got ghosted, and then he finally says, oh yeah, I went to an open house and bought from that realtor, and I was like, what?
Yeah, brutal.
Yeah, it was,
I forgot about that.
yeah, that was my first buyer client, I believe.
Yeah.
It's very disheartening because, and there are sometimes when it's not personal, it truly is kind of how the cookie crumbles. But
Yeah.
I think, I mean, it's easy to hate, you know?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things that I hate about real estate. But I would think like my number one is probably just dealing with other agents in the industry that shouldn't be in the industry because they can ruin a deal so fast. And you don't have control over that.
Yeah.
You don't have control over who, and you know, as a listing agent, as a buyer's agent, your fiduciary responsibility is to your client. And so there are a lot of times when, you know, it's like, even just communication, like, did you receive my offer?
Right, yeah.
Are you going to send that amendment to the lender? Are you, and you feel like you kind of have to coach people along and then they get their feelings hurt. And then it's like, well, you know,
A lot of ego.
Yes. And
So much ego in this industry.
So I hate that about the industry is that it's just, it can go sour just because someone doesn't want to do the work or doesn't know how to do the work, so they're not educated, or, you know, we deal with a lot of agents that have transaction coordinators. We have our own transaction coordinator, and we all handle our files differently, but they tend to be the ones who are the most, like, taken out of the equation.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, at the end of the day, you're the licensed agent. You're the one supposed to be making these decisions. So I think I hate that on top of, you know, financial freedom. We
Yeah.
all do this because we have the ability to run our financial freedom, and nothing is ever guaranteed.
Yep.
Even at the closing table, I still
Yep.
will never forget one of my deals that literally we signed. We were walking out the door and USDA pulled the file, and they were homeless for 6 weeks. We had to find them a different house. Thankfully, I had an amazing lender who helped make things, like, it was just so, but since then I've just always been gun shy. Because
Yeah.
even at the closing table,
I had one
something
fall
can
through
go
the day
wrong.
of closing too. Yeah, and then you never like count on a closing after that.
No.
After your first one falls through the day of closing, you never count on a closing after that. And it's like, we're gonna have to do a podcast about that
We
situation
will.
that you had, because
Yes.
I remember that and that was a crazy deal.
Yep.
But I think that it's like, if you can never count on anything, no matter how much work you put in, and that's like one of the most discouraging parts, is because like, you could work with a client for months and months and months, finally get them under contract, and there's a million things that could go wrong, right? Inspection, appraisal.
Loan.
They lose their job. I mean, there's so many things outside of your control once you do all the hard work to get them there, that it's like, man, it's tough.
It is, and so it's like you know, I see like all these agents on social media, and they're like, I have 10 million under contract, and I'm like, but do you?
Yeah.
Because in all reality, all that 10 million could just fall.
Yeah,
We
true.
all know, and maybe that's only 3 houses,
Right,
depending on what price point you're in. But so that's my thing. But my biggest thing that I hate about real estate are taxes.
Oh yeah, God.
That's the dagger to the heart for me.
Yeah.
Taxes have been my kryptonite since I got into the industry, which was.
See, I didn't make
15
enough
years
last
ago.
year, so I think I'm gonna feel it this year. The
Even
tax
then,
part,
though-
and just being prepared.
That's
Yeah.
the biggest thing, is literally just not having the ability.
I don't think I can pause it. You can. Hi, we're in the middle of a podcast.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're totally fine. It was our fault for starting what we did. But the offices are right through there if you want it, and then we're just gonna finish this one up.
Cool, yeah.
Yeah, I think that taxes are super tough, and I feel like there's no good way to do it. Like when I originally did it, I did big checks at the end of the year for my first like 4 or 5 years, and this year I've done it where I do monthly withdrawals to the IRS. Also sucks.
Well,
Yeah.
and that's the biggest misconception, is people think, oh, well, you guys just make a crap load of money, and it's like,
Yeah.
True. I'm not going to discount that.
Yeah.
However, 50% of all of that goes
To
Uncle Sam.
expenses and taxes, yeah.
Oh, don't forget about marketing, because we own our
Uh-huh.
own business.
Yep.
Right,
So,
yeah.
you take
That's
that
gas,
out,
it's
and by
everything.
oh my gosh, yeah, taxes, marketing, and all of the MLS, and all
Right.
of the places that we have to
Staging, photography, yeah, there's a lot of.
There's so
and
much.
we choose that education piece that we love about real estate. We choose to do that, and all of that is a cost to us.
Mhm.
Not only because we choose to, but it's also required by the state.
Yeah.
And so it's not just like, oh yeah, I got my real estate license and it's free like willy-nilly. That was my dagger to the
Continuing
heart.
education,
Taxes.
that costs, and so
Yeah.
all of those costs, just a lot of people who are W-2s, that's what their company does. It pays
Uh-huh.
for the electricity.
Yep.
It pays for
Yeah.
office.
Yeah.
But this is our business. We have to pay that.
I think another thing that really bothers me is that, like, our clients expect us to be available 100% of the time
Mhm.
when they wouldn't expect other professionals to be available during those times. And so it then, for us, when we do put our clients first and we care about the transaction, we're invested with them, it's really hard to establish boundaries if you don't do it on the front end. And I made that mistake for years and years and years. And so I think having healthy boundaries and establishing them early is like crucial, because otherwise you will just be crushed. I mean, you'll be working 24/7 all the time. It's rough.
But in our industry, sometimes it is all day Sunday.
Yeah, yeah.
Because that's when the contract just went in, that's when they're accepting, that's when you're negotiating in the middle of the birthday party.
Yeah.
It is true. I
Family
mean,
dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
trying to
Vacation.
negotiate things. Yeah.
Everything happens on vacation. Always. If you want to get
If
a
you
deal
want
under
business,
contract,
go.
go on vacation.
Yep. Just
Yeah.
leave.
I had a
100%.
big party, birthday, family gathering on Sunday. Guess when we went under contract?
Yep.
Yep.
Always. Always works out.
And you just have to grin and bear it, but that is the hard part. And it's
Yeah.
like, okay, well, if I was 8 to 5, when I leave at 5, I
Yeah.
walk out.
There
And
are
leave
real
it at
estate
work.
agents that do that to
Oh,
a
they
point
do.
where it
And
can
here's the
kill
deal.
it. Yeah, it can
That's
kill
what
a
I was
deal.
saying. You're
Can kill a
dealing
deal.
with agents who aren't fully invested.
Yeah,
And
for
that
sure.
is hard for me.
So that's it sounds like we all hate that.
Yeah, we don't love that. But there's a lot of things to like. These are just some of the things that we don't
Yes.
like. And if you're
Yeah.
considering getting into the industry, these are things that you need to know and
100%.
need to be aware of
Yep.
because it's not this like happy-go-lucky, everyone
No one
makes tons
teaches
of
you this
money.
stuff.
No one's even honest with you when you get into the industry. So
No.
that's why we wanted to do this episode. It's
Yep.
like here's a glimpse into like the nitty-gritty realness of what it's like to be in this industry full time. And if you have other questions about it, please feel free to reach out to us or any comments or concerns, and we'd be happy to answer those for you.
We will see you next time.
Bye.